Hey everybody, Dane here for the Global Run Club. I'm out here on Cuckles Cove, part of Signal Hill, a National Historic Site here in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. I love it out here. Have you ever gotten to a hill and feel like your fitness just absolutely disappeared? We all feel that way sometimes. Today, we're gonna break down why that happens to you, why hills are just so darn hard, and how to fix it. The first reason hills feel so hard is that there's a biomechanics shift. You're using different muscles on the hill than you are when you're just running on the flat. So you're using your glutes, you're using your hamstrings, you're using your calves more than you are on the flats. That posterior chain is really working hard when you're on the hills, and those muscles maybe aren't trained as much as they should be. The second reason is that your oxygen demand spikes. So even at the same speed, running uphill means your body is using a ton more oxygen, and that feels really tough. And the third reason is that you're fighting the hill instead of flowing the hill. Most of us tend to attack the hill too quickly at the start, and the result is that we gas out pretty quickly, and those muscles that we don't use as much get really tired really quick. And so part of what we're gonna teach you to do is flow up the hills instead of fighting them. So you're gonna slow down a little at the beginning, and you're gonna feel better by the end. The big fix for hills is to adjust your effort, not your pacing. And so what I want you to do is shorten your stride. Go slower on the hills, even though your effort is gonna feel tough. So shorten your stride, get up on your toes, hinge forward at your ankles, not at your hips, and work those arms. The more you're working your arms, the better off you are. If you're a trail racer and you're running with poles, that's a whole other skill set. If that's something you want to know, drop a comment. We can do a whole video on poles for you if you like. The other thing I want you to keep in mind is that it's okay to walk the hills, except, if you're a trail racer like I am, we don't say we walk the hills, we say we're power hiking. But what we mean is that we're walking the hills, and that's perfectly okay. When you're power hiking, what I want you to do is lean forward, put a little extra weight. Even if you have to push on your knees with your hands, that's okay. Looks a little bit like this. And then Neil will put in the B-roll. And then Neil will put in the B-roll.
And Neil will put in the B-roll.
How do you get better at running hills? Well, it's a big shocker. The way you get better at running hills is by running hills. Look, the workout I want you to start with is 60 to 90 seconds uphill at relatively easy effort. Now, this isn't easy effort like conversational pace, but it's not a full-on sprint. So 60 to 90 seconds up, and then I want you to run down the hills. Part of what happens to trail racers especially is if you're not used to racing down hills at all, your quads get really tired and fatigued from all that work, and so you've got to learn to do that work as well. The second type of hill workout I want you to think about is much, much harder, almost like a fartlek only on the hills. So 10 to 15 seconds, really hard work on the hills, and then full rest until your heart rate comes all the way back down. These two workouts can be done 6 or 8 reps per, so 6 to 8 times up the hill. Add that to the end of your long run. It's a really great way to finish. You'll feel strong and sweaty just the way you like it. Now, on the downhills, I also want you to think about how you move on the downhills. I don't want you falling down the hill with all that pressure coming on your quads. Your steps should still be light. Your stride should still be short instead of super long, but you should enjoy that gravity. You shouldn't just have your feet bang, bang, banging, but you shouldn't be braking too hard, easy. Ideally, it looks something like this. Look, the last thing you want to keep in mind when you want to be great at hills is that there's some mental strategies that work really well also. Break the hill down into a set of challenges. Don't just look at a hill. This is especially important if you're out for a long trail running in the mountains. So break it down into little segments. As far as you can see is a good place to run until, and then power hike a bit until your heart rate comes back down, and then get back on it and run a little further until a point that you can see. These mental strategies of breaking down the big hill into little hills will really help increase your time. And the more time you spend running on hills, the easier it is to run on hills. Look, get out and do the workouts, let me know what you think. Running on hills can be a really fun and amazing way to spend your time outside. But it's also important that on race day, to get the best out of yourself, the hills is often what make or break your goal time. And so getting really confident on the hills is one of the ways to get there. Look, from myself, from Brad, and from Neil, we really appreciate it. If you've got something to say, hit us in the comments. We read everything you send and we reply, when we've got something to say.